here with more. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, Committee Member Chip Roy of Texas. Chip, great shot that we just played to you. Let me ask you both the question I was asking Kevin McCarthy. Quick answer from both of you. Will all 222 Republicans, will they agree on fiscal responsibility measures before there's any debt ceiling increase? Will they remain united, and will they hold the line? Jim Jordan.
Yes, because we have to, Sean. That's what the voters demand, and we have to stick together if we're going to get anything done.
Chip?
Yeah, Sean, of course. $32 trillion in debt. We saw our speaker go down to the White House today, talk to the president and say, you know what, Mr. President, we're a co-equal branch of government. You are going to negotiate. You are going to sit down with us. We are going to make sure we do our job and stop spending money we don't have.
And the Republicans, all 222, will unite behind a fiscal plan, responsibility plan. You all confident of that? Okay.
I am.
Jim, let me start with you. You're the committee chairman. Sorry, Chip, he does have rank over you. But I like you equally, both equally. But, you know, multiple people today, Congressman, they just sat there and lied to your face and said there was no problem at the border whatsoever. Congressman Jordan.
Yeah, I think there are three fundamental questions here. How did this happen? Why does it matter? And how do we fix it? We know how it happened. Joe Biden on day one said we're going to not build the wall, we're not going to have any deportations, and we're not going to have the Remain in Mexico policy. Today's hearing was really trying to hone in on why it matters. We heard from a dad who lost a kid who lost his son to fentanyl. We heard from a sheriff who talked about the record levels of crime, the stuff that's happening to property, all the bad things that are happening. And then, of course, how to fix it, that's our job. And we are going to pass legislation out of the committee that will go back to the policies that work. Last thing I would say, Sean, on this is the sheriff told us, he said he's been in law enforcement 38 years. He said the best the situation on the border has ever been was 2 years ago under President Trump. The worst position they've ever been in is where it is now. We need to go back to those policies. The House Judiciary Committee will pass legislation to go back to the policies that work so we can stop this fentanyl and everything else that is harming our country.
Chip Roy, we just played a question you asked a Democratic witness, a judge from El Paso, whether it was racist for a Hispanic Border Patrol agent to call the migrant crisis an invasion. He wouldn't answer your question, Congressman. I wanted an answer to that question.
Well, it's a good question. And we had Janelle Rodriguez, who lives in the county a few miles down the road from me, in with her husband, Brandon Dunn, because they lost her son last August to fentanyl poisoning. We lost 53 migrants in a trailer in the Texas heat in San Antonio, which I also represent. 57 migrants in a trailer in Mexico coming here. Democrats want to hide behind using terms like racism. What did you see in the hearing today? You saw Democrats who wanted to make it about Republicans. They wanted to use words like racism. They didn't want to address the actual issues. And what you saw in the answer there was that this isn't about racism. We saw a direct response from a dad who lost his son, an Hispanic young man. You saw a response from Hector, who's a great friend of mine in Laredo, Hector Garza, who's an Hispanic working in Border Patrol, who is totally sick and tired of the Biden administration taking them for granted and saying that, hey, this is racist, when all we want to do is enforce existing law to protect Americans from fentanyl, protect Americans from cartels, protect migrants from being abused by cartels, and to reset order at our border. Even Jay Johnson, Obama's Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, said that 1,000 people was an actual crisis. Now we've got 8,000 people a day. This is the reality of our border, and Democrats want to politicize it. We want to stand with the American people and migrants to protect them.
Let me ask you on another issue, Jim Jordan. Biden's Department of Justice has denied your document requests on numerous issues. They clearly are going to protect the Biden administration. They are not recognizing co-equal branches of government and something called oversight, which is part of your responsibility. My question is, what is your next option? What options do you have in terms of their unwillingness to participate, willingly allow the oversight that you are supposed to be involved in?
We had a transcribed interview today of a former Justice Department employee. We will use compulsory means to get documents and people if we have to. We assume we're going to have to do that. But understand, this is the Justice Department that had a shared understanding with the Biden White House and the Biden lawyers to keep the classified document issue quiet. So this is that same Justice Department. We hope they comply with the subpoenas that we will have to probably inevitably send.
Well, as these investigations move forward, we will have you both on regularly. Great job, both of you, today. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Jim Jordan, Chip Roy, thank you.